Spain does it, so does Belgium, and now Nova Scotia is on board. I'm Christina Howard, and at least one Ontario MPP wants Ontario to join their ranks when it comes to organ donation. It's called presumed consent, and the idea is instead of registering to become a donor, you'd actually have to opt out of the donation process. Now, the idea is to bolster organ donation rates, and it isn't without controversy. Now, something I do want to point out, I do have end-stage kidney disease. I perform 9 hours of dialysis every night, and I am on the organ wait list. However, I do have some good news to share. My cousin has been deemed a match, and hopefully that means I won't have to wait much longer for a transplant. But that isn't the case for thousands of others.
Give me hands.
It's the kind of scene taking place in kitchens across the country. A father and daughter playing, hanging out. But 4 years ago, Gray Brett couldn't imagine he'd be sitting here with his daughter, not without a life-saving transplant.
In May of 2015, I got very sick very quickly, and I went downhill, and I went through a number of different issues. So I was very sick, enough where I was not well enough to be put on the transplant list.
Suffering from a rare autoimmune condition, physicians were able to get him well enough so he could get on the list. And in a miracle fashion, he quickly got a new liver. Without a quick transplant,
I don't think we'd be sitting here having this conversation.
It was that. Your situation was that dire.
Yes.
There are more than 1,600 Ontarians waiting for a transplant. Most are looking for a kidney, and most will wait years before they get one. And while the Trillium Gift of Life encourages people to sign up to be a donor easily through the beadonor.ca website, only 34% of eligible Ontarians have done so. NDP health critic France Gélinas aims to change that with a private member's bill she's brought forward every year for over a decade.
It is a bill that talks about assumed consent so that for those 1,723 people on the wait list for an organ, it gives them hope that those life-saving surgery would become available way faster than they are now.
Only 24% of eligible Toronto residents have registered as organ donors. This bill, which has passed first reading, would reverse the onus, making it up to potential donors and their families to opt out of the donation system. About 265 Canadians die every year waiting on the donation list. Gélinas says it doesn't have to be that way, especially since those who are opposed to donating their organs would be able to easily opt out. Health Minister Christine Elliott doesn't appear to have the appetite to pick up Gélinas' bill, at least not yet.
We want to do whatever we can to encourage organ donation in Ontario, but I think that's another discussion that we would have to very seriously consider because it's not without ramifications as well. There could be, if you have implied consent and people don't realize that it's implied, someone passes away and families are deeply opposed to organ donation, that can cause a lot of trauma for families and potentially even lawsuits. So I think it's something that we need to really consider very carefully before we move in that direction.
But Brett, who has spent the last few years representing Ontario and Canada at the World Transplant Games, bringing home medals and breaking records in the process, says a movement like this could help to create more heroes. And he is grateful for his donor and his donor's family every day.
I know, as I said, I wouldn't be here without him. Like he decided to save people's lives, like not my life specifically, but just somebody's life, and that's fairly special. If you save somebody's life, you're a hero in my books. So he's my hero.
Now, the bill has not yet been given a date for debate or second reading, but in the interim, if you are interested in becoming an organ donor, you can head to beadonor.ca.